It's Dawn with Shall We Stamp. Hope everyone's doing well. I am just getting my supplies ready for our exciting class this evening. Let me turn my comments on. Give me a second. Let me do that. I will load them in so y'all can just pop on, say hi. Hope everyone's doing well. We had another hot day here in the Villages. I think it was, I don't know, 86 degrees, I think. Something like that. But anyways, so we'll just wait a few more minutes. It's 7, so we'll just give everybody a few more minutes to pop on. In the meantime, I'm getting my card bases set for us to do our one sheet wonder tonight. And this is a fun one. So I will post the, I've got some templates, if you will. I've got some templates that I will post, and so then you will be able to download those later. Hey Faye, how you doing? How's Virginia? So I'll post those. So if you don't want to take measurements, don't worry about it. I'll post them, but I'll tell you as we go, and I'll show you the templates that I made, and then you'll be able to use these. And it's a great way, if you're not familiar with a one sheet wonder, to make a bunch of cards. And so these are going to be very, they're not going to be real elaborate, we'll put it that way, but you can dress them up as much as you want, but we're going to keep them pretty basic, but they'll still look nice. Hey Judy, how are you? Nice to see you. Online, I should say. So we will start here in just a minute as everybody starts popping on. Make sure you all share my video, if you don't mind, with friends, or put it on your Facebook page or whatever and share it. I would appreciate it. The more people I can reach, then the more fun it will be for everybody to learn how to craft. Hi Linda, how are you from Idaho? And I'm trying to get my desk. I swear, I've got these IKEA tables that I ordered, and I don't have anything down, but my glue is sticking to them, so I'm gonna have to really wash them down, I think, every time I get done playing. Well, on this side is strictly for videotape, and the other side over there is where I do my normal cards and stuff. So we'll give it just a couple more minutes. We won't wait too long, and those that can pop on, because I'm not sure. I don't think it will take that long, but I know everybody's time is valuable. We have so much to do these days since we can't leave the house, right? So we're trying to find ways to get to be busy. My husband and I had bought some electric bikes that help when you ride. It helps you with what they call pedal assistance, which is really nice, because if you're going uphill or if the wind's blowing really bad, it's a great way that it helps you with your speed. And as we get older, you know, we're not as young as we used to be, right? So it's a little bit tougher to go riding. So we've been trying to do that in the mornings to get out and get fresh air. Of course, I walk the dog every morning about 6:15 or 6:30, something like that. So I get my exercise with her when she decides she wants to walk. Some days she does, and then some days, if y'all have pets, you can probably relate. Some days she doesn't. But some days she digs her feet in, and we're trying to walk, and I pull her on the cement, and her paws are doing this, you know, bump, 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 bump thing, and it just drives me crazy. So, and I'm not going to force her. She don't want to go, she don't want to go. But she's getting a little porky too, so we got to try to watch her weight. So anyways, all right, 7:03. Let's wait one more minute, and then we're going to get started. Whoever else pops on they can just catch up or watch the replay. And I'll show you. Oh, I didn't. Let me get my cards. Hold on, that would be important. For those of you, our catalog goes live tomorrow for demonstrators. So if you're not a demonstrator, sorry, it will go live for the customers on June 3rd. The retired list comes out tomorrow. I'm just going to give you a little housekeeping sales things now. Retired catalog goes out, will be posted in the morning. It may come out tonight. I don't know what time they post it, but tomorrow it'll be posted. And if there's anything that you might want to get on there early, because things will sell out fast, and especially the end colors from 2 years ago, which is the Grapefruit Grove lovely lipstick, which I really like it. I'm sad that it's going to go away. I was hoping they might keep it since they made blend. We've got Stampin' Blends, but who knows. Palmy Clover, Blueberry Bushel, and Pineapple Punch. So those are the ones that are retiring. So if those are your favorite colors, then I highly suggest you get online as soon as possible and order those and take advantage of whatever the discounts are. I will tell you that we do have a die cutting and embossing machine coming out. It's going to be in the catalog. The pictures will, but we won't be able to order it probably for a couple of months. I think probably issues with the traveling and all this other mess. So who knows? But they are hoping it will be within a month or two once the catalog goes live in June. So I'm excited. I can't tell you any more than that. I know some people I think may have started posting. They're not supposed to. We can't post anything about it. But I will tell you that you're going to love it. It's going to be exciting. So I got to see that today. So that was really exciting. So anyways, enough of that. Let's get started. For those that haven't popped on yet, then they will just have to join us. I'm going to turn the camera down. And give me just a second. Sorry for my hands. All right. I'm trying to get my camera situated where you all can see everything. And all right, so what we're going to do tonight is we are going to use, we're going to do a one sheet wonder. And this one, and I'm going to copy all of these templates here. So, and I'll put these on the page, so you don't need to worry about taking notes if you don't want to. But what we're going to do is you want to choose, instead of doing a 12 by 12, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take 2 pieces of 6 by 12, and you want to get 2 different coordinating colors, okay? So you want, make sure they're double-sided, right? Because we want them to coordinate, because we're going to use both sides, and we're going to make 11 cards. This is from the Ornate Garden Suite, and this is still available. I think customers, I think you all can purchase this through the end of April, and then it won't be available until the catalog comes out in June. So if you like this paper, you might want to go ahead and get it ordered. All right, so we've got our 2 sheets of paper. You want 2 6 by 12 pieces of double-sided designer series paper. You want to have 11, we're going to make 11 cards. So you want to get your card bases, have those together. And I'm using Calypso Coral, no, I'm sorry, pardon me, Terracotta Tile, Daffodil Delight, Mint Macaron, and then 2 thick Whisper Whites. I figured those will go with the colors that I have in here in my paper. So I've got these all ready to go. And what I'm going to do is we're going to work one section at a time, and I'll make the cards and do my sentiments, and I'll show you how I'm going to put mine together. I'm not going to be adding ribbon or doing anything fancy, but you can do that on your own, because I know that this is probably going to take a little bit of time. So I just want to make sure that we keep it kind of moving along. One thing, okay, so this here is the template, and you may have seen this before, I don't know, but this is what we're doing. This is not to scale, but just say that this is a 12 sheet, 12 by, 6 by 12. All right, so it's 6 inches. So our first cut is going to be at 4.5 inches. We're going to do a second cut at 4. So this will be 4.5 by 6. The second cut's going to be 4 by 6. And the third cut's going to be 3.5 by 6, okay? And then I'll post these once I get thin enough, you can cut them both together. So we're going to line this up. I'm going to place it in the paper cutter, and we're going to cut this. The first cut's at 4.5, right? So it's 6 this way. So we're going to move it over to the 4.5 mark, which is right there. And we're going to pull this, our cutter, let me get it up here. And we're going to cut those pieces at 4.5 by 6, and we're going to set those right off to the side because we're going to use those in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and cut the paper, and then we'll move on from there, and then I'll show you the next thing that we need to do first, but I'm going to get the paper cut. All right, so the next one is going to be 4 by 6, right? So we're going to move this over to the 4-inch mark, and we'll go ahead and cut this at 4 inches, and then put that off to the side. And then that's going to leave us a 3.5 by 6, okay? So this is our 3.5 by 6. So we're going to set those right there. You want to have, I'm flipping my paper over. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. And what we want to do, I'm trying to get the light in here. What we want to do is take it on the 8.5 side, and you want to cut 2 inches off, okay? So we want to cut 2 inches off the 8.5 side. And then we're going to turn it. So the 11.5 is at the top, right? So then we're going to cut 1 inch off the right-hand side. And then you're going to cut 5 by 3.25. So what you would do is, let me back up a minute. So we cut 2 off, the 8.5 makes it 6.5, right? And then once we turn it to the 11, we cut off 1 inch, that leaves 10. So half of 10 is 5. So cut it 5 inches, and then your turn, and you'll cut 3.25. So you'll have 5 by 3.25. 2-inch piece you want to keep because you can use that for your sentiments depending on how big or small they are. And then this piece is we're not going to use this piece. All right. And again, I'll post these. So 8.5 by 11. The 8.5 at the top of your cutter. Cut 2 inches off. Turn it. Cut on the 11-inch side. You want to cut off 1 inch and line up at 5. Because half of 5 and 5 is 10, so you're going to cut it 5 inches and then turn and cut 3 3/4, and you'll have 4 things, and we'll use this. This is going to be used on our first 4 cards. We are going to do, oh, you know what? I didn't even do that. So let me do that right now since I have a piece of paper here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. I didn't cut my paper like I was supposed to. So we've got our 8 1/2 at the top, right? So we're going to cut off 2 inches. I wasn't thinking. I thought I was all prepared, but there you go. You get to watch me. All right, so we've got 8 1/2. So minus 2 is going to be 6 1/2, right? So we got 6 1/2 right there. So I'm going to cut my 2-inch piece off. I'm going to set that off to the side because we're going to use that. I'm going to turn this. Now I'm going to take 1 inch off. So the side right here of our cutter, let me see if I can bring this down. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can, hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Woo, oh, that's a little bit much. Now it's working. Usually I don't want to zoom that much. Okay, so we're going to cut off 1 inch. So I'm just going to move my paper right there, line it up on that inch mark. All right, so let's cut that. All right, this piece we don't need, so we're just going to push that off to the side. Now we've got a 10-inch piece, so let's cut it at 5 inches. It lined up at 5, so let's cut at 5. And then we're going to turn it and cut at 3, what did I say? Oh, 3 1/4. So we're going to do 3 1/4. So we're going to cut 3 1/4 right there. So there gives us 2 that we're going to use. And then we're going to do the same thing on this piece, 3 1/4. All right, and then we have 4 of these. So these are the first 4 pieces that we're going to use, and then we're going to move the cutter out of the way because we don't need this any longer. All right, so let me move this out of the way. All right, so now we're going to move on. All right, so I'm going to bring back my 4 1/2 by 6, right? So I've got my 4 1/2 by 6. Now, when I post these, I've got 3 little templates here. Now, these are not to scale, guys, but I've got in the corner number 1, number 2, and number 3, which will go with the 3 sets that we've cut, okay? We need our cutter because we're going to cut these pieces of paper. So again, this is 4 1/2 by 6, and this is our template. We're going to cut it at, since it's 6 inches, we're going to cut it in half at 3 inches, right? So we're going to cut it 3, and then we're going to cut strips of 1 1/2. So far, so good. Let me get in the camera. Let me zoom back out a little. At our 6, and we're going to cut it at 3 inches. So let's go ahead and cut this at 3, right? So that's going to be cut at 3. Now we're going to take this and turn it, and we're going to cut 1 1/2. There's 1 1/2 right there. So we're going to cut that at 1 1/2 inches. Now we're going to cut this back down to 1 1/2 as well. And it's so much easier because you can cut both your papers at the same time because they're so thin. All right, and we're going to cut those. So we've got these. So now we've got 6 pieces right here, correct? And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. So we're going to cut this one at 1 1/2. And this is where we're going to use those pieces of the card bases that we just made, the white ones. And then I'm going to cut 1 1/2 one more time. 2, 4, 6, we've got 12 pieces, and we've got them double-sided. So what we're going to do, let's sort them because we're going to use these. We want to get our colors situated so that when we start putting our card together, then we can see what we've got. Let's see, we've got 2, we're going to have 3 that color, 3 this color, and then we're going to do 3 like this, okay? All right, so now I've got them separated. So let me bring in my card base, and let me see which one I want to work with. Let's see. Let's do the mint macaron. We'll do 2. Let's do 1 mint macaron. Let's do that. We'll do 1 mint macaron, and actually we'll do 2 of each. How's that? Because we're going to do 4 cards, right? We're going to make 4 cards out of 11. So let me get my other card base out. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is you're just going to take our 4 pieces, our white pieces that we just cut, and we're just going to make a puzzle, right? So let's get them all sorted out. All right, and then it's whatever you feel like doing, okay? So let me move this out of the way. All right, so we're just going to take, and then we'll adhere these down. I'm just going to place these, and you place them however you want. I'm just going to line them up now so we can figure out how we want these little guys. Let's do one like that. All right, you get the gist of it. So now we can come down here. We'll come over here and do one like that. And then we'll do a yellow. Let's see, let's do a pink there. And let's see what we got. We got 2 yellows. So we could do a yellow on this side. All right. Now here we could do what we got left. We got 2 yellows. So why don't we do 2 daisies? We'll do 2 daisies on the outside. And let's do a green and then we'll do the 2 pink ones. What do y'all think? Adhesive on here, and then we'll attach these to each of the cards. I copied this from Jackie. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I think it's she's the Clomper Stampers or something. She's the one that's got like the Holland, the little wooden shoe thing. Pardon me. I just thought this was really neat, and it's a great way to use up our designer paper, and especially since a lot of us tend to buy it and then we don't want to use it because it's too pretty, right? We'll go ahead and use it up now and make our cards. So we're just going to line these up. Just line those up, and they should be pretty even. So I'm just going to do all of this and just keep talking to you guys. If I don't respond to your comments, hopefully everything's fine. I'll look at it in just a second. If I start looking at the comments, I get sidetracked. Unless I set up another computer where I can have it. But I don't want to get distracted. Attaching these. You're just going to leave a little bit of space in between. All right. Whoops. And then we'll move it around. Anyways, so anybody going to get up early and try to see what the catalog looks like? I mean the retired list. I have an Etsy store that I put all my retired stamps on, so that means I have work to do. So I'll be pulling all of the stuff that's retiring and putting it on my Etsy store for sale. Putting these together, and then we're only going to do this tonight because I knew that I wanted to show you how to do this, and I'm off camera as far as putting my glue on. But I wanted to show you this because I thought it was just a great way, and with everybody feeling like they need to send cards out to people, this is a great way to make a bunch of cards. I just sent another batch out today, birthday cards for the neighbors and some other folks. And then I've got another batch that I will be sending out in the next couple of days. And then I need to make more, so I'll be using these cards probably for that. All right, we have one more batch to put together right here. And then we'll attach these to our card bases. And then we'll move on to the next section of what we're going to do with this. I love this paper. Whoopsie. So if you all have not purchased this paper, I highly encourage you to do so, because it's absolutely stunning. I just love it. Let me see, what are we doing here? Nope, we're going to do that one. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll put this one in the center. And really, y'all can do what you can put all the 3 the same if you want. You know, you want to do all 3 of the same design on the front of the card. I've got a little adhesive that has moved over, but I'll go ahead and take that off with my eraser afterwards. That one's a little bit too far to the right, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. So we'll attach these. All right, so let me put this on here. Now see how fast this is going? I didn't look to see what time we started this to see how long this is going to take, but it shouldn't take that long. So we've got our four things together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach these, and some of these are a little crooked, and I apologize for that, but that's right. Whoever gets it is not going to see, not going to matter to them. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and add adhesive to the back, and then we'll attach this to the card front. And then you're just going to lay this on one of your card bases, okay? Isn't that pretty? Now, you could add some ribbon. I'm not going to, you can add some ribbon if you want to. You could tie it underneath and then tie a bow or a knot or whatever. But again, I'm just going to make simple. So let's go ahead and attach the rest of these. And then we'll do our sentiment, and I'll show you which one I'm going to use. This is Daffodil Delight that I'm going to use now. Probably should have put that one on Daffodil Delight. But it's okay because it's got the mint macaron in there, right? So this is really springy looking cards, aren't they? That's why I like this paper. I ordered it. You can still get it before the end of this month. I'm pretty sure that at the end of April, you're not going to be able to order until June. I think they're just giving you like a 30. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. All right, so we're on the last one that we're going to do now for this section of the card. And the one sheet wonders, if you have all not done them, they are really a great way and quick way that you can make a lot of cards in a quick amount of time. So there are our first 4 cards. Now we're going to do our sentiment. So I pulled out the stamp set, the Tags in Bloom, which was a celebration stamp set. And I'm taking out the one that says, I miss your face. Then later we're going to use this Thinking of You, because I'm going to send that out too. All right, so I'm going to do Miss Your Face. So I'm going to do those in gray, like the basic gray. For some reason, I've been using a lot of that on my sentiments. So we're going to stamp this, and this is what we're going to use this little strip for that we cut off, right? So I'm just going to use the basic gray. And then we're going to use the Timeless Labels punch. I hope that's still in the book. I forgot to check it. I think it is. So I'm just going to stamp 4 of these, right? Because we're doing 4. Love this sentiment. I love your face. And I know that who I'm sending one of these to is one of my processor that used to work for me. She used to say that all the time. I love your pretty little face. And Amy, you'll know who, well, you wouldn't know, but it's Tina. Tina says that all the time. So now we're going to take these and I'm going to use and you can use the fancy label punch. I was going to use that one, but that and the other one that are in the mini catalog are on, I know the bigger one is on back order, so I didn't want to take the chance. So anyways, I'm just going to use this one. And I'm going to cut out these 4 sentiments, and then we're going to pop these up on dimensionals. And, excuse me, and as you can see, it's moving pretty quickly. And then you could add some rhinestones or any kind of bedazzle things on here to dress it up. But for now, we're just going to make these just, very simple. So we're just going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of our card, 2 on the back of each sentiment. We'll pop those up on the cards. Put that there. So we're just going to pop these off and stick them on our cards, and then we'll move on to the next set. So we'll pull those off, and I'm just going to place them right here in the center. And now, you can choose a coordinating ink if you want to. I was going to do that, but I thought for simplistic, for simplicity, it would just be a lot easier just to do it that way. Now, I can turn this one. I'm going to turn this one this way. Now, granted, it might cover up, this one's going long ways, right? And I could do it this way, so let's just see. We'll do one that way and see what it looks like. It might cover up the center thing, but that's okay. So we'll do this one like that. It does cover up the paper, but that's all right. And then this one, we'll make sure I get my card right. I think we'll do it long ways, only because it doesn't cover up all that pretty paper. And you really want to see those daffodils because they're so pretty. Doesn't this just make you feel like it's getting to be spring? Oh, my goodness. All right, so there we go. And I think I'll come back and probably put some rhinestones on here and color them with the blends. So there is our first 4 cards that we made. And I hope my picture's not frozen. Let's see. It doesn't look like it's moving. Okay, so there are the first 4 cards that we made, and I just put my sentiment on this one a little bit differently. Okay, so that's using our first 4.5 by 6. All right, now we're going to pull in our 4 by 6, and for those that are just joining, I will put these items onto the site once the video is loaded. I'll put these on here. So you'll have all the different measurements and stuff, so don't worry about writing it down if you don't want to. All right, so now we're going to go with our 4 by 6 piece, which is this one. So we're going to take this one and 2. All right, now on this one, we're going to pull our paper trimmer back in. Now, this is a card, so this is the one that, let me get in the camera. This is the one that we want to do. So we've got the 6-inch here. We're going to cut off 3/4 on the right side. Now I've got both of my pieces of paper together. It's a lot easier since they're thin that we can do that. So we're going to cut 3/4 of an inch off. So there's my inch mark, right? Let me get my thing down here. So there's my inch mark. I'm just going to line up right to that mark to do my 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to cut that off. So this is going to make this one piece 3/4 by 4, because this was 4 inches, right? So let's cut that 3/4 off. Now keep these because we're going to use these later on another card. So we're going to just set those up there. All right, now we're going to turn this. We're going to cut 1-inch strips. So now we have this paper's at 5 1/4, right? So we're going to cut 4 1-inch strips. Like that. And pull this up. And then we're going to do what we did before. We're going to separate these out when we get done. I'm going to go back this way because this will be easier for me. All right, so I'm going to fold this. Oops, get my fingers in there. All right, so we're going to line it up at 1 inch. The nice thing about this is you can see through that cutter, and I can see my line for my 1 inch to make sure that I'm lined up with it. Got a 1 inch there, and then we've got 2-inch piece. So I'm going to line it up on this side again, on the right side, and we'll cut it again. So we've got our 4 5 1/4 strips. Now I think this one's off just a little bit, but that's all right. So now we're going to take 3 more. Oops, we need that cutter again. See, I keep putting it away. All right, so let's, we're going to go ahead and separate these again. So now we're going to pull in let's see, let's do a Whisper White, and let's do a mint macaron, and let's do a terracotta tile. So why don't we've got these are 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4, right? So what we want to do is we're going to take this, we're gonna score, we're gonna put this in this, we're gonna move our cutter out of the way, and we're gonna place this back into our trimmer, and we are going to score this at 1 1/4. And let me show you. So we got 1 inch. All right, so we're going to score 1 1/4 on 4 of our card bases. There's one, and what we'll do is we're going to fold them back like that. So let me go ahead and do those real quick. We'll look a lot nicer than using the gray or a black, but just for some simplicity, I thought it'd be easier this way. Otherwise, I'd have ink pads out. So thinking of you, I'm going to go ahead and punch these 4 out. Okay, so let me know what your thoughts are on this, like this or not. I think this is a great, easy way to make lots of cards. Yeah, One Sheet Wonders are really great for not having to do a lot of thinking. I do offer, and I'll put a link up, I do offer a subscription for a One Sheet Wonder service that I provide. And every month you get a different template of One Sheet Wonders in sample cards that I've made using that particular template. Sometimes you got to trim down your cardstock, right, to get it in the punch. So we just have one more circle to do. And again, these sentiments are a little on the plain side, but that's okay. We'll when you do it at home, obviously you'll dress it up a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna put some dimensionals on the back of these. Knocking my glue over. Okay, we are on the downhill side of almost being done here. So let's put some dimensionals on here. I'm just going to put 3 on each card. But yeah, that's the one thing I like about these One Sheet Wonders is that you don't really have to do a lot of thinking. You just follow the template. Get your paper, your ink to coordinate, and add some ribbon if you want, and you're good to go. Or any kind of embellishments. That's the one thing why I got involved with Stampin' Up. When I first started stamping, of course, I went to Michael's. I had a coworker that used to was a demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and she always made cards and gift boxes and candy things and all that stuff. And she'd always bring it to us, to the loan officer for us. And I asked her one day, I said, I always shopped at Hallmark, and I said, where do you buy your cards? Because I never see anything like that. And she was telling me about Stampin' Up. I'd never heard of Stampin' Up. All right, so I'm putting my thinking of you right there. I'm going to put that in the center. And again, you can put them where you want. And so anyways, to make a long story short, I talked to my nail lady, and she said, oh, I know somebody that teaches classes. So I met with this lady, and ended up going to one of her clubs. I think I'm going to put this one down here a little bit towards the bottom. And then you could, decorate this up too if you want. And so I started going to her club, and the first night I went to a class, I had no idea. I'd never stamped before. I'm not creative. I'm not a crafty person. And everybody was so nice and so helpful. I just fell in love with it. And I worked as a mortgage loan officer. And back in them days, it was stress. I mean, you talk about stressful. I was single. You work on straight commission, which that wasn't a problem for me. But, still, if you don't work, you don't get paid. But anyway, so I fell in love with it. And then after about 8 months, I went to my upline and I said, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to join because I want to get a discount. If I got to buy $25 from you every month for class, then I might as well pay myself and join. So that's what I did. Okay, so here are our next 4 cards using those little strips. Now look at that. So anytime you have some strips laying around, you could even make cards like this. Aren't those gorgeous? So now we're on to the next cards. All right, so that's the next 4. Okay, so we are down to the last template, and our last piece is 3.5 by 6 inches. So we are going to turn it, and we're going to cut at 2 1/4, right? So this is 3.5. So we're going to cut 2 1/4. So let me get that up there. So we're going to cut 2 1/4. We're going to make 2 of those. So 2 1/4. So we'll cut that, and then we're going to move this one down to 2 1/4. We're going to cut that and move these off to the side. And then this last piece, we're going to turn it 3.5 inches here. So we are going to turn it and cut at 1.5, which will give us our squares. We're going to turn it and cut it at 1 3/4. 1 3/4. All right, so we have 4 little squares, but we're going to use these. So we're using up we're going to take our card bases and we are going to, oh, you know what? I need one more card base. I knew I had cut enough. Let me grab one. And I opened my card at 5.5 by 8.5 like this. And I added the opposite of the cards there. And then if you recall, we kept 2 strips set aside from our previous cut. And I added that here in the center and then stamped and added my sentiment right there. The next card, I did the same thing, but I just had it layout where you open it like a book. And the same thing, I just used the 2 different designs, front and back, and then added the other strip of DSP that we had cut off previously and added my sentiment there as well. And then the last one where we used the 4 squares, in this particular case, I just used the 4 squares, lined them up, and added my sentiment in the center. So that is the completion of our One Sheet Wonder. I hope you've enjoyed this class. Please make sure to leave me some comments and share my video because it helps me to reach other crafters that I would love to share my stamping with. As always, thanks once again. Don't forget you can visit my blog at shallwestamp.com. Sign up for my newsletter at the same place. And then also find my other YouTube videos at Shall We Stamp 1, the number 1, Shall We Stamp 1 on YouTube. All right, everyone, thank you so much, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.